Thank you for joining us on the eve of Mobility Week as we unveil our first zero-emission, all-electric bus to go into Lynx operations. Mobility Week is a statewide celebration of promoting safer, more efficient transportation choices and an ideal time to think about how we can improve multimodal options to reduce traffic congestion and benefit the environment and improve public health. Exciting to cut the ribbon on Station 9 serving the Rosemont neighborhood. And along with
Good afternoon and welcome to the April 4th, 2022 meeting of the Orlando City Council. We're going to begin today's proceedings with the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance today offered and led by Commissioner Robert Stewart.
Thank you. Will you bow your heads with me as we pray? Dear wise and loving Father, first let me say thank you on behalf of all those that are gathered here today. Thank you for the many and abundant blessings. Thank you for life itself and for the measure of health we need to fulfill our callings, for sustenance, and for friendship. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities. Thanks as well for the freedom to embrace you and the freedom to reject you. Thank you for the loving us even so from your boundless and gracious nature. In the scriptures, you have said that citizens ought to obey the governing authorities, since they have established those very authorities to promote peace, order, and justice. Therefore, I pray for our mayor and our various levels of city officials in this council, in particular for this city council. I'm praying that you would graciously grant us wisdom to govern amid the conflicting interests and issues of our times, a sense of welfare and true needs of our people, a keen thirst for justice and rightness, confidence in what is good and fitting, the ability to work together in harmony, even when there's honest disagreement, and personal peace in our lives and the joy in our tasks. I pray for the agenda set before us today. Please give us an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work and play in our beloved city of Orlando. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll and make a determination of a quorum, please?
Commissioner Gray,
Here.
Commissioner Ortiz,
Here.
Commissioner Stewart,
Here.
Commissioner Sheehan, Commissioner Hill,
Here.
Commissioner Burns,
Here.
Mayor Dyer.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum with all members present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First item of business is consideration of minutes from the workshop agenda
So
review.
moved.
City Council meetings of March the 14th, 2022. Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, we are right into awards, presentations, and recognitions, and I see a lot of park staff in here today, and a smiling 34-year member of the Orlando City family. So today, why don't you come on up? I know, where is Rodney back there? And Rodney too. So today, we are celebrating 34 years of service with our Parks Division Manager, John Perrone. And Rodney, the Deputy Director of Family Parks and Recs, will introduce John and announce his retirement in recognition of his years of service for the city, and the opportunity, along with several of the city commissioners, to celebrate John along with his family at the Museum of Art last week sometime, and there was so much love and appreciation going on there, and you have a wonderful family. I especially enjoyed hearing your two boys speak about the leadership that you've given them and the example you've given them throughout their lives, so that's special. Rodney?
Don't make him cry yet. Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. We are here today to recognize John Perrone for 34 years of service. Originally from Louisiana, John graduated from Louisiana State University. Now, Mayor, during the week that the Gators and LSU played, it was a little tense. John's love for outdoors became a passion, leading him to become a licensed landscape architect for design and building companies in Texas and Louisiana. Having always been passionate about parks, John began working for the Orlando Parks Bureau in July 1987 as a landscape architect, and later became the Parks Division Manager in 2007-2008. As Parks Division Manager, John expanded the CIP renovations program, collaborated with many different departments, consultants, and contractors to design, develop, and maintain over 115 park facilities. A proven, responsible steward of city funds and properties. John became an adjunct professor at Valencia College West, since he's been there since 1992, so he continues as an adjunct professor, teaching landscape, design, and construction. He also has been a scorekeeper for the Magic and the NBA for over 21 years. He really benefited by being in parks because he met his soulmate and the love of his life at Commissioner Hood's district picnic at Wayview Park in 1992, his wife Mary. Married and raised two fine boys. John has been a valuable and dedicated employee to the city of Orlando. And Mayor, Commissioners, after 17 years of playing in the same sandbox, you become family. So at this time, it's my honor to introduce my brother, John Perot.
John, let me read your retirement proclamation. Proclamation to John L. Perone. The City of Orlando is proud of the service rendered by its employees, who have contributed in no small measure to the enhancement of the City Beautiful as one of the most progressive cities in the nation. Progress in municipal government is predicated, for the greatest part, upon the loyalty and efficiency of the employees and their ability to carry out their duties in the highest tradition of public service. On the occasion of your retirement from the employ of the City of Orlando, after 34 years of service, the Orlando City Council wishes to express its esteem of the sterling qualities manifested in your devotion and loyalty to the City of Orlando. Now therefore, I proclaim grateful appreciation of your long and honorable record of faithful service with the City of Orlando and extend best wishes for good health and happiness, dated this 15th day of April 2022, signed Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer.
Just want to say thank you for allowing me this opportunity all these years. You guys are the best council, best mayor, and the best city in the state of Florida. I really appreciate all the support. Thank you.
Absolutely. Anybody you want. Anybody that's associated with parks, anybody. FDR too. We'll stay in front of that. Yeah. Let's go. Don't be near walls. Come on. Come on.
This team keeps our city beautiful.
Hold on, Okay, we're going to move on into the mayor's update. And sadly, commissioners, I have to share that one of our community's most active and appreciated and loyal supporters of the city and all things good for arts and culture and sports has passed away. Ford Keeney passed away late last week, and Ford has been a friend for, 30 years probably, and has been a passionate philanthropist and advocate for arts and culture. He helped create the Downtown Arts District. He restored the historic now Rogers Keeney building and then donated it to the city. He was one of the very active members of the Dr. Phillips Center and was very active with Florida Citrus Sports and served on their board for many years and as president. He was brilliant, he was generous, he was kind, and he'll be missed in his impact will certainly live on forever in our community. You know, we're losing a lot of talent around here. It seems like we have people that have served 30 some odd years that have decided to ride off into the sunset, and that includes Rick Howard, who has 38 years with the city of Orlando, and this is his final city council meeting, which he probably does not regret that part of it, but all the other parts of it. And he has been our public works director for the last 11 years, and I'm going to present you your retirement proclamation at a staff celebration later on, but I want to thank you for your dedication and your commitment. And quite honestly, the Public Works Department is the one department in the whole city of Orlando that makes us look good or bad. And while you have been here, I would say it is about 99% good, whether the trash is being picked up or stormwater or any type of service that we provide. And I see so many of our trucks out, and sometimes it's like, how many different things do we have going on in the College Park neighborhood that the city of Orlando is out here doing? So we deeply appreciate your service over that time period. Okay, and I have a couple things, items of note on the agenda. A2, we had a workshop this morning on our electric mobility roadmap, and there's a resolution adopting those strategies that are outlined in the e-mobility roadmap on the agenda today. Our other workshop this morning was on the community response team, which I thought was a fantastic update on a pilot project that has made great strides in providing alternative response to sending a police officer to every 911 call, especially when there's mental or behavioral health calls that could be better served by sending trained mental health professionals. So that was pretty awesome. And then on today's agenda, also, we have a new Office of Constitutional Policing at OPD, and that also furthers our efforts in community policing and transparency and equity between officers and the public. This office also helped with the implementation of the recommendations outlined by the Bowman Group, which you've had a lot of information conveyed to us. So I think that's another great step for OPD. And then lastly, I'll just mention that we have a resolution of support for the transportation sales tax that Mayor Demings came and gave a presentation to us a couple meetings ago. So that is item J1 on the consent agenda. With that, I will move on to the consent agenda itself, and that's a number of items that are acted upon through a single vote of council. We give our council members each an opportunity to comment on items and also to update you on important happenings from their districts. We rotate the order we do that, and Commissioner Stewart is first up today. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. I also send condolences to Fred's family. It is, I don't remember in Orlando without him. And he has done so much in our community in so many ways, in such a quiet way. I think he'll be missed. Well, he's not going far, I hope. Rick, we will miss you as well. I guess when I started, you were city engineer and then became this important person like Public Works Director. But we will miss you, and we'll miss spending time together. So maybe we'll play golf more often now. And John Barone, of course, had a chance to attend a celebration with the mayor of his retirement, and such wonderful comments from around the community, from such a diverse group. There he is. John, thank you for your service, and thank you for your friendship over the years. We appreciate it. Mention a couple of things coming up in my district. We're doing redistricting meetings throughout all districts. Mine will come up on in District 3 on April 12th at 6 o'clock at the College Park Neighborhood Center. So please plan on attending if you'd like to come and get caught up, submit a map, find out what we are in terms of the status. Please come join that. Mayor, let me say thank you for your work with the Neighborhood and Community Summit last weekend. It was wonderful. And I want to say, I think it may be the largest one we've ever attended. It was pretty close. The breakfast was just packed. I remember going to the first one years ago before taking office. And it's come a long way because of your leadership. So thank you very much for doing that. That means a lot to our community. We'll say happy birthday to Warka in transportation because she does so much hard work for me. If I don't say something nice about her, I'm certain I'll hear back from her. So happy birthday to her. Some upcoming events real quickly. We are continuing our Nominate Your Dog segment for District 3, and I'm going to tell you, it's the craziest thing in the whole world. We can say all the great things about what our city is doing, and I mention a dog, and all of a sudden people just respond. But it's a good way to engage them in what we're doing in our community. The Jazz and Blues concert at Lou Gardens is April 9th, 7 o'clock. The Falcon 5K is going to run around the community at Audubon Park K8, starts April 9th this weekend. Ivanhoe Village Cleanup is on Wednesday, April 13th. Harbor House Paws for Peace is over in Blue Jacket Park on April 30th, and of course the College Park Spring Fest was moved to April 30th because of the bad weather this past weekend. There's so much great stuff going on in the district, and I'm so encouraged by seeing everybody out and about and enjoying it. I haven't got much on the agenda today except the mayor say thank you for the update on the e-mobility and the community response team. I think those are two very important things to our community. They both lead and show how progressive our community is in trying to respond to the needs of our community. And so I want to tell you how much I appreciate that and appreciate the work that Chris has done, Chief Rolone, and the work that you have done. I look forward to seeing more of it. I think the hardest part is that sometimes we scream and yell what we do, and people don't know about it until they get interested. All of a sudden they're interested, they go, oh my gosh, I can't believe Orlando has done all this stuff. And so we just got to keep screaming and yelling about all the great stuff we're doing. So with that, I want to say thank you very much for y'all for your support, and turn it back over to you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Sheehan.
Thank you, Mayor Dyer. And I'm going to take a point of privilege to wish my mommy, Jean Stacy, a happy 84th birthday. So
All right.
she never
Nice.
thought she'd make it this far, but happy birthday, Mom. I know you're watching, and I love you very much.
Is she seriously watching?
Yeah, she's watching.
Hello.
She is the only person I know that actually watches the city council meetings is my mother. So happy birthday, Mom.
All right. Well, let's sing happy birthday to her if she's watching.
She would love that.
All right.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mommy. Happy birthday to you. Love you. And Mom, everybody in the audience is clapping for you too. So, I also would like to say a couple of words about Ford Keeney. I served on the council actually when Mayor Hood was here as well, and we had a controversial ordinance about tattoo parlors, and they're trying to talk about what things they didn't want downtown, and I say we need to find ways to encourage the kinds of uses we want downtown, not discourage the uses that we don't. And Ford was a little offended by the tattoo parlor ordinance, and he and a bunch of other businessmen showed their tattoos in a pictorial in the Orlando Weekly. That's how cool Ford was as a businessman. So I want to thank Ford Keeney for making Orlando cooler, kinder, and more colorful. That was just absolutely who Ford was, and he'll be very much missed by all of us. And certainly as a philanthropist, he had probably had his hand in everything that happened in the city that was anything to do with sports and arts. Godspeed, Ford Keeney. On item A2 today, as someone who's committed to purchasing an electric vehicle, I appreciate the commitment to this infrastructure. We have a gas station on every corner, and soon it's going to be a charging station. That's just part of making a cleaner environment. And also on item A3, the Better Climate Change Agreement, net zero emissions by 2050. It also mentions rooftop solar. I do feel we should be fighting back on legislative mandates, rolling back net metering. This council, I feel, should do a resolution supporting fairly reimbursing rooftop solar customers for their power generation. And if we can't, we need to partner with the Department of Energy on a national level to make sure that we have a national solar bill of rights, because this is very, very important to our community, very, very important to our nation and our world, and we really need to make sure that this happens. Also today on the agenda on item B4, we are going to get staffing to implement a comp plan for Greenwood Cemetery, which is really, really important. It's a very, very popular cemetery. We're reaching kind of the limit of the amount of plots that we have available, so that's just to see if we can free up some of that availability for some of the plots that haven't been used. That's just great stuff, and I fully support staffing to implement that for Greenwood Cemetery. And also on the on item J1 on the sales tax initiative for transportation, we really have got to get this. We cannot get meaningful transportation funding, transportation implementation done without funding. And the only way to do that is with the sales tax initiative. And if anybody thinks that sales tax doesn't work, look at all the buildings that happen at the convention center through sales tax, and that's through the hotel tax. All the schools that have been built through the half-cent sales tax, all the great things that have happened. We have a transportation crisis in this community, and I fully support the 1-cent sales tax for transportation. And with that, that's all I had, Mayor Dyer. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Hill.
Thank you, Mayor Dyer. And I also like to extend my condolences to the Ford Keeney family. I haven't known him as long as many others here, but the contacts that I have has always been gracious and a humble man and a kind man, so he will be missed. I like to also say I agree with Mayor Dyer. We're losing some of our great soldiers there that have been in the trenches. With my 8 years here, I agree with Rodney. They have become more than staff to me. They're family. And that's Mike Carroll and, of course, John Perrone and also Rick Howard. Mayor, I truly believe I would not have been elected 3 terms if it had not been for those guys and the work that they do in my community and building it up. Many might not know that I ran for office because of park benches. It wasn't to become a commissioner. It was some benches and tables that was not in Callahan Park, and the only way that I could put those benches back was to run for office, and I dared to do that. But the first meeting that I held after Mayor Dyer swore me in was with the Parks Department, and John came up and he has helped not just restore Callahan Park and gave me those benches and tables and let me help design that park. And we had a big community day when those benches was restored. But then through Mayor Dyer's leadership and council support, every park in my district has been restored and revitalized. In the community, through those parks and input from those communities, they're now activated and they're real, I think, real communities, Mayor, because of your efforts and mandate. And of course, under John's leadership, I can truly say that almost $15 million have been put into District 5 parks with restoring it. So I really appreciate you. And I'm gonna miss you guys. I told Rick this the other day when I met with the oncoming director there that's with our sanitation and all those public waste department, is that I have abandonment issues. And it's almost like losing a family member, but they said they'll come back around if needed, and they're still a telephone call away. So with that said, congratulations and thank you for your service, guys, and enjoy. On Wednesday, March 16th, I hosted a luncheon there in the Paramore area at Dexter's Birdline Restaurant, and we hosted about 30 people there on 17 organizations. As you remember, last year, the Electric Daisy concert came there in District 5, and they have been great partners for economic stimulation to that area. But there's, because of the festival so large, there's been some impact there in the community. And what they did, because of some adverse impact, they gave that community $60,000. And it was divided up with those 17 organizations that were HOA, schools, and some nonprofits. So I really want to thank the venues and Craig and for helping to lead those efforts, and of course the EDC Foundation. On Thursday and Friday, I attended the Florida Black Caucus of Local Elected Officials, which is called FBC Leo. their spring conference that was held at Embassy Suites there in Kissimmee. And it was just talking about infrastructure, the American Rescue Dollars Plan, and I was there also in attendance with Commissioner Burns, and it was a great session. I look forward to next spring session. On Friday, March 18th, I attended the Onyx Magazine Women on the Move luncheon, which was held at the Alphon Inn in Winter Park. As always, it was a great event. I honored women who have made tremendous impacts here in the community and throughout Florida, and now also international. And I'd like to thank Rich Black of Onyx Magazine for allowing me to be one of the host sponsors and meet those amazing women. Saturday, March 19th, I was able to host a suicide prevention walk in partnership with Giving Hope Again, a nonprofit in the Paramore area. This suicide prevention walk was held in memory of the late Ricardo Lewis, who was the director and co-founder of Giving Hope. And approximately a year ago on that date, March 19th, he committed suicide at the age of 38 years old. So that suicide walk prevention was held there at Lake Larned Dune, and it was to bring awareness to mental health and also recognize suicide prevention. And we honored the suicide loss survivors and those attempted survivors and the families of the loved ones who struggle with suicidal thoughts and mental illness. Giving Hope Again was established on February 3rd, 2016, and it's an organization there in Paramore that's improving the livelihood of those in our communities, as well as finding innovative and effective ways to reach out to those who have been affected by the perils of life, and it helps to give them hope again and help them to learn to dream again. So I was fortunate and humbled to be a part of that movement. On Monday, I joined Mayor Dyer there at EA to welcome the employees' return to work day at Creative Village. And it's just an amazing facility and a great organization. And I look forward to the community action plan that they're doing throughout Central Florida, but primarily there in the Paramore area to work with the students and families there to introduce them to STEAM. On Thursday, March 24th, I attended the Barrier Breakers Monument unveiling there at the Jewel of the West Side, Lake Larned Dune. It was amazing to see the community gather, in unity to memorialize the first racially integrated Little League game played in the Deep South in August 1955. Imagine that. With the beautiful bronze sculpture of two young 12-year-old boys, one African American and one Caucasian. It was much more amazing to see the players from both the Orlando and Pensacola teams to be present there that great day. Thank you, Commissioner Stewart, for bringing that all together and helping with that vision. I commend Ted Haddock of the Edward E. Haddock Jr. Family Foundation for his efforts to provide such a monumentous occasion and bring history to light. And also to the late George Nuke, who created the sculpture. His wife, Mary Nuke, was there and she spoke. Another probably not known fact that Mr. Nuke also integrated college football, and it was played right there at Tinkerfield. Tangerine Bowl, I apologize. And then on Friday, I thought one of the coolest things we did, and it was a proud moment for me, and I know for this council and Mayor Dyer. And thank you, Mayor Dyer, for your continued support there and helping create that space there at Lake Larned Dune. I never forget that, and it's being just activated in a monumental way. And thanks, Rodney, for your leadership over there and the team that you've galvanized. We rode bikes from Lake Larned Dune and went throughout the neighborhood and came downtown here to City Hall. I think we had almost 200 bikers on that track that day. Of course, I did not and had not ever rode one of the electrical bikes, but it was one of the coolest things after I got on and kind of got the hang of it. It was a quick jolt, But after that, I was easy breezy. And it was just good to see everyone out on that brisk morning, Friday morning. And then on Tuesday, I attended a community town hall with the state attorney, Monique Worrell, there, where she was talking about many of the initiatives that they're going to be bringing from out of the state attorney's office and community building. And last but not least, Saturday, April the 2nd, I attended the African American Chambers of Commerce Gala, the Eagle Awards. It is the crowning celebration for Central Florida's most dynamic businesses and individuals that serve as a time to honor those members who drive the growth for development of our vibrant and diverse business landscape. I'm humbled to be this year's recipient of the Small Business Advocate of the Year Eagle Award. So thank you to the African American Chambers of Commerce, Ms. Tanisha Gary and her team of outstanding leaders in the other Eagle Award recipients. But I don't accept that award alone. It's because of the support of this council and this mayor. And I believe the community partners, this work is not done in a silo, it's done by many. And I'm just humbled to be a part of this team. And that's all I have. But Saturday, April 9th is Tiger Pride Day. Put on your orange and green and come on out, led by Mr. Hulk over there, Mr. Walter Hawkins and his alumni. We probably will have over 2,000 alums there and current students that honor the rich history of Jones High. I think the classes go all the way back to 1940s that will be present. So with that being said, I'll turn it over to another Tiger.
Commissioner Burns.
All right, thank you, Mayor. I would also like to say thank you to John and Rick for your service to the city beautiful. And thank you for guiding me as a new commissioner and educating me on all the great things that you all do. On this day in 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee. And our country could really use a dose of his wisdom today. And as he's no longer here, I'm grateful that we can use his teachings and his life as a guiding principle as we navigate the oftentimes divisive political climate that we're in. So if we can just, throughout the day, just take a moment to reflect back on the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. In March, I had the pleasure of leading a panel on the importance of mental health at the Florida Black Caucus of Local Elected Officials Conference in Kissimmee. And thank you to FBC Leo for this invitation and for hosting such a stimulating conversation about mental health, which impacts us all. So again, we need to continue to keep mental health and our own mental health at the forefront of our minds. For March and Women's History Month, I named Donawana Coffee Shop in Metro West as the District 6 Business of the Month. And thank you, Mayor Dyer, for joining me in that presentation, as well as the Multicultural Affairs team for recognizing this tremendous woman-owned business in our city. Also, I had the pleasure of joining Deputy Chief Young and the Orlando City Soccer Club for Kicking It with OPD at Memorial Middle School. This was a great event. It showed us that, also the ability to break down barriers and using soccer as a catalyst for positive engagement. So thank you, Chief and OPD, for your continued efforts to bring our communities together. Also, I had an opportunity to participate in the Bike to Work, as Commissioner Hill mentioned. Really enjoyed myself. Still contemplating biking to work one of these days outside of this coordinated event. But I enjoyed myself, and definitely won't be the last time that I participate. Lastly, my office hosted our first District 6 Night of Honor, where we highlighted the great work of many of our HOAs and neighborhood associations and the work that they're doing for our city. So we gave awards to community champions in education. I recognized my mom also in health, Miss Eloise Abrams from Guardian Care, we recognized her. But most of all, it was a chance for us to say thank you to the people who make our district and our city work, those who take time to clean up their neighborhoods, come to community meetings and start neighborhood watch efforts. So they do this on their own time with their own money. So again, say thank you again to all of you all in District 6, and I'm looking forward to next year. Also, want to say thank you to Ebeth Bruce Wall of Spectrum News 13 for hosting the event and providing some coverage. And Mayor, for council agenda, I just wanted to acknowledge and express my support for items A3, the United States Conference of Mayors Childhood Obesity Program, where the city of Orlando Paramount Kids Zone and the Youth Beekeeper Program will be receiving $50,000 to support those efforts. Also for D3, the National League of Cities Grants for Equitable Economic Mobility Initiative, where we will be getting $70,000 to implement specific economic mobility projects throughout the remainder of this year. So with that, that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Gray.
Well, thank you, Mayor. A couple of quick thank yous to the staff. On the 15th, we had the Crime Prevention Awards, and so thanks to the team at OPD for putting that together. One of the key events I think we do to engage the community, so thanks very much for that. On the 22nd, we had a focus group meeting for a new community park in Lake Nona. Thanks to Denise Riccio and the Parks team for organizing that. And then finally on Saturday, the Mayor's Neighborhood Summit, thanks to Universal and Lowe's for hosting that, and certainly thanks to the staff for organizing that, and all the vendors that came out and shared some of their info on their different programs. So thanks to everybody, great event. Also want to give my accolades to both John and Rick. John, I don't know what you're going to do in retirement, but I hope Howard hits a golf course. He got a lot of room to improve, so he's got plenty of time now. So I hope Rick gets that together. But congrats, gentlemen, and you're going fishing. Okay, good. I like that. But congrats, gentlemen, for a job well done. On the agenda, I just want to speak on J1 real quick. I do absolutely support this resolution to encourage the folks at Orange County to give the voters a chance to vote on this, but I do encourage all of us, the special interest groups will have the pros and cons. I encourage everybody not to listen to the 30-second soundbite, but to do your own education, your own research. As I say, politics is a participation sport. You need to understand the good and the bad, so I'm all for that, but hope everybody through these series of community meetings the county's organizing that we can get educated and then make the decision you seem appropriate. So that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Ortiz.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me start by once again giving an accolade to presenters this morning. Chief, great presentation. Chris, great presentation. We need to make sure that our constituents know about these presentations. We're going to take those and pass them out. I know you guys are going to do it too, but they were great presentations, and I think the community is going to be very happy to see what's going on. Warka, whatever you are, third, sixth floor, happy birthday. We should have sang happy birthday to her too. Anyhow, John Perone, Mr. John Perone, I can't believe you're leaving us. Tireless servant, mentor, collaborator, very patient, an officer and a gentleman, a family man, but above all, a loyal friend. And I appreciate all these years, all your mentorship, all the things you taught me in terms of park, our trip to Dominican Republic to help the community over there. That was awesome. I hope you stick around even though you retire. We can still go fishing. So, and Rick, oh my God, another great mentor, great friend. I can't believe, we're losing all the libraries. So thank you for your help. Thank you for everything you have done, not only for me, but for our community. You guys are exceptionally great, so thank you so much. On Thursday, March 24th, I had the honor of attending the Barriers Breakers Monument unveiling with Mayor Dyer and Commissioner Hill. Big kudos to Ted Haddock of the Edward E. Haddock Jr. Family Foundation and Commissioner Stewart. Thank you for spearheading this initiative from its conception to construction. It was great to see that monument. We need a lot more monuments like that around the city. I also attended the grant Thornton grand opening with Mayor Dyer. Congratulations to Grant Thornton US on their latest expansion, and welcome to District 2. On Saturday, April 2nd, Florida Representative Daisy Morales and I hosted a successful autism awareness event. Big thanks to those who participated and helped to make it a great event. That lady is busy with the community. She's going out there and she's not only showing face, but she's bringing knowledge to the community, so kudos to her. I also attended with Mayor Dyer the 10th annual Spring Soiree. What an amazing event. Runway to Hope's mission is to support families battling pediatric cancer, and they really know how to put on a great show. It was great. And on April 7th, from 7 to 8, we're going to have the Neighborhood Community Redistricting meeting at Dover Shores Community Center. So for our community, those are our listening, please show up, because we definitely need your input in reference to where we're going to go with the new redistricting. On items B5, I'm really excited about this particular pre-construction agreement with Gomez Construction Company for design-build services for Emergency Operations Center. Things are moving along, and we need to make sure that we are prepared to have our centers of operations in top shape. So looking forward to this. And as Commissioner Gray was talking about item J1, I also support this particular resolution. I'm glad that this has been taken to the peoples and for people to decide what's best. But as Commissioner Gray also mentioned, let's make sure that people do analyze this, not just by what others are telling them, but do their own research and make sure that when they make the decision, they make a solid decision about what's best for their families and for themselves. So with that being said, I'm going to move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ortiz, second by Commissioner Stewart. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, and so the motion carries. Okay, if there are those that were just here for the consent agenda, we'll take a 15-second break for you to be able to move out.
Let's make Rick stay. They get a long meeting just for his last one.
Okay, looks like we can move all the way down to hearings, ordinances on second reading. Madam Clerk, you are up for number 1.
Ordinance number 2022-17, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending Chapter 39 of the City Code to reflect change in management of parking facility from Orlando Venues to Parking Division, providing legislative findings and for severability, codification, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Madam Clerk, I have no requests from the public.
No speakers, Mayor.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 2.
Ordinance number 2022-18, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the Orlando Health Plan Development Zoning Ordinance to add approximately 6.6 acres of land to the Plan Development Zoning District, such land being generally located north of Cayley Street, south of Gore Street, and west of South Orange Avenue, providing a conforming legal description, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, and an effective date.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Hill. I have no request to speak, Madam Clerk. Is that right?
No speakers, Mayor.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 3.
Ordinance number 2022-19, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to digital billboards, amending Chapter 64, Part 3, Section 64.271 and 64.277 of the Land Development Code to revise the separation requirements for digital billboards and to update the incentive billboard list, providing legislative findings and for codification, correction of scrivener's errors, severability, and an effective date.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Burns. Okay, I do have a couple of requests to address council on this particular item, both wishing to appear by Zoom. We also have materials that have been submitted and distributed to council, several emails related to this, and I think a memorandum that's authored by one of the two people that are going to speak. So Madam Clerk, you want to take it from there?
Our first speaker is Richard Grasso. Please state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes to speak.
Hello. Thank you. I'm Richard Grosso. Can you all hear me?
We can.
Thank you. My address is 6919 West Broward Boulevard down in Plantation, Florida, and I'm here representing Colonial LLC. I had sent the commission a letter last week, at the end of last week, detailing the points of comprehensive planning law and comprehensive planning programs in the county, the city, that we feel that the ordinance as written is inconsistent with. And I'm not going to go over all of those. I would make a couple of key points that I'd really like the commission, the council to consider, Mayor Dyer and the council members. First of all, my client owns a piece of land that would be affected by this. The ordinance, if approved, would allow a digital billboard to be built adjacent to her property. And that's why she's affected. That's why she cares a lot about this. The key point I would want to make is that when it comes to writing ordinances like this, that implement your comprehensive plan, they should be done in a very nuanced and surgical manner. Your comprehensive plan has all sorts of great planning programs designed to increase the quality of life, improve the aesthetics, support redevelopment and revitalization in specially designated identified areas of the city, like my client's property that's within an enhanced landscape corridor, within an activity center, within the East Colonial Drive vision plan, within a Main Street corridor, specifically the Milk District. And the key point that I make in my letter, and that I would ask the board, the council, and the mayor to consider, is that, you know, an ordinance that implements what's obviously a laudable goal to ultimately reduce the number of billboards in the city, but yet that does not prevent digital billboards from being placed in these areas where your comprehensive plan is specifically trying to encourage redevelopment and try to encourage beautification and improvement. We think that's not the best approach, that the best approach that implements everything in your comprehensive plan, like the policies I pointed out in my letter, and an approach that meets both the needs of the billboard industry and your small landowners, your small business owners, would exclude from that as a receiver site, kind of like a TDR program, areas that are within these enhanced landscape corridors or activity centers, or in particular the Main Street corridor, where we're trying to beautify and change the long-term planning, outcome for that area. That would be the number one ask that I would make of the council on behalf of my client this afternoon. The SWAP program seems to be working. There's no demonstrated scarcity of sites, and so I think you could achieve your goals while excluding certain areas from that, like we've requested. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, we have a second request.
Yes, Mayor. Up next is Rosemary Huffman on Zoom. Please state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes to speak. Ms.
Mrs.
Huffman.
Huffman, are you out there? I see you on the Zoom
Sorry
screen.
about that. Good afternoon, Mayor Dyer and Commissioners. I am Rosemary Huffman, representing Colonial LLC at 3100 East Colonial. Thank you for the opportunity to be heard. Thank you, Mr. Grosser. We welcome your questions and discussions. From the start of this proposal at the Municipal Planning Board in December, we have been clear and consistent and created an extensive case record that there are legal issues specifically related to the growth management plan and due process. Our concerns are not vague or general. They are specific, detailed, and documented. This amendment has serious legal flaws. Without regard to the legal issues, the proposed ordinance is a bad policy decision. My property is at the crossroads of the East Colonial Corridor, and this intersection is key to the redevelopment of that corridor. However, this ordinance would increase the number of digital billboards in this Colonial Corridor. East Colonial and McGuire is a local shopping center designated by the city to be a town center. This crossroads intersection will soon become a 46-acre mixed-use town center development, and FDOT is rebuilding the intersection. Beg pardon? There will soon be even more residents and pedestrians at the crossroads. It is not at all the same character as International Drive. This corridor has been identified by the city as in need of redevelopment for some time. A digital billboard would be intrusive and out of character with the objectives of the city to redevelop this neighborhood. This amendment is a solution looking for a non-existent problem. It was born out of the singular desire of Clear Channel to put a digital billboard at Colonial and McGuire. When that failed, they want to change the law citywide. That is why we are here today. I ask you to protect small landowners and business owners like me and not just prioritize the desires of large corporations. I ask you to balance our interests. There is not one iota of evidence in the record of this proposal going back to December that there is a city problem to be solved, let alone a problem to be solved by reducing the distance between digital billboards citywide. And this legislation would intrude on the tenets of the comprehensive plan and the goals of the city. We urge the city to pause this proposal and work with small landowners, small business owners like me for a solution that would satisfy the industry, the city, and the citizens. A solution which would not favor anyone and be fair and equitable to all. We suggest that the council put this amendment on pause until a future meeting and direct the parties to work together for a solution to meet that criteria and bring it back to the council. We respectfully request your vote against ordinance 2022-19 at this time. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Madam Clerk, do we have any more requests?
That's all, Mayor.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, number 4, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance number 2022-20, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the land development regulations of the Garden Plan Development to add 2 parcels to the plan development and to provide a new site plan for multifamily development for certain land generally located west of North Orange Blossom Trail between West Amelia Street and West Robinson Street, and comprised of 20.8 acres of land, providing for amendment of the city's official zoning maps, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. We don't have any cards for testimony. Is there discussion?
Mayor, my apologies. We received a request from Gregory Lee to speak on this item.
Okay, my bad. We do have one. Is that in person or by Zoom?
He's on Zoom.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. I'm here, Gregory Lee, 200 South Orange Avenue, Orlando, Florida, 32801. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Pinnacle, and I'm just here to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, I don't think we have any questions. Thank you, Mr. Lee. All right, that's all the public testimony that we have. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 5.
Ordinance number 2022-21, an ordinance of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the Plan Development Zoning District regulations for the Lake Nona Plan Development, generally located north of the Orange-Osceola County line, south of Dowden Road, east of Boggy Creek Road, and west of Narcoossee Road, and comprised of 9,044.20 acres, more or less, amending the Plan Development District's maximum height limit for parcel 22B, directing amendment of the official zoning map series, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Ortiz. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
No speakers, Mayor.
We do not. So discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Let's move to ordinances on first reading, number 1.
Ordinance number 2022-16, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, designating certain land generally located east of Narcousie Road, south of Falcon Park Boulevard, and north of Central Florida Greenway, State Road 417, and comprised of 67.28 acres of land, more or less, as planned development of the city's official zoning maps, providing a site plan and special land development regulations for the planned development, providing for amendment of the city's official zoning maps, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Ortiz. We have no cards, correct?
No speakers, Mayor.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 2.
Ordinance number 2022-22, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, rezoning certain land generally located north of International Drive between South Kirkman Road, I-4 Ramp, and Grand National Drive, comprising approximately 18.9 acres of land, more or less, from Metropolitan Activity Center District with the North International Drive Special Plan Overlay District to Plan Development Zoning District with the North International Drive Special Plan Overlay District, providing a development plan and special land development regulations of the Plan Development District, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Burns, which you ladies had second. Second by Commissioner Sheehan. No testimony, discussion. All in favor indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, number 3.
Ordinance number 2022-23, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending chapters 58 and 60 to update outdated references to the Growth Management Plan and amending Chapter 59 to implement recent changes regarding the city's Vision Zero safety goals, road level, service standards, and mobility strategies, providing for findings, severability, codification, correction of scrivener's error, and an effective date.
Motion by Commissioner Ortiz, second by Commissioner Sheehan. No public testimony, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 4.
Ordinance number 2022-24, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending Chapter 61 Orlando City Code to address outdated references related to requirements for roadway design, access management, on-site improvements, and parking and loading requirements, providing for findings, severability, codification, correction of scrivener's error, and an effective date.
Motion by Commissioner Ortiz, second by Commissioner Sheehan. We have no public testimony. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. And number 5.
Ordinance number 2022-26, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, and annexing to the corporate limits of the city certain land generally located east of Conway Road, south of Cove Drive, and north of Judge Road, and comprised of 4.72 acres of land, more or less, amending the city's adopted growth management plan to designate the property as industrial on the city's official future land use maps, designating the property as industrial park with the aircraft noise and Conway Road special plan overlay districts on the city's official zoning maps, providing for amendment of the city's official future land use and zoning maps, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Ortiz. I see that we have no requests to speak. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, and so the motion carries. That concludes the agenda business for the Orlando City Council today. Ed, could you get us ready for general appearance?